First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmiah Shai, Bahashem Rekak Radash, and double honor to the elder apostles and the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Bashmiah Shai Brakatham to the elect, and it's your brother Laban. And I want to get right into this video here, beginning with this news. As you can see here, Trump tells Sean Hannity that violent gangsters are pouring in with tattoos all over their face as he launches migrant crackdowns. So it goes as far as to read, the 78-year-old Republican sat down for his TV interview as president with Fox Sean Hannity and covered a wide range of issues, from his intent to release more files on JFK's assassination to Biden's decision to pardon his family. Tackling the migrant crisis, he told Hannity who would ask for open borders with peoples pouring in, some of who I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble, could be trouble. And there are people coming in with tattoos all over their face, and their entire face is covered in tattoos. He has a way of repeating himself when he talks, man. He added in the interview, aired Wednesday night. Typically, he's not going to be the head of the local bank. Last month, Daily Mail reported how heavily tattooed gangsters belonging to the trendy Aruga crime gang are coming across the border and spreading their tentacles across the country, often carrying out violent crimes. And as we and the brothers was out and we was going into this, as the brother was reading a different article from this one, of course, and I mentioned that the executive order that DJ Trump wrote into have passed through dealing with this migrant issue. As you have gangs coming in as they're found out, which definitely was, of course, set up with Biden in under his administration. Later in his tenure, that he basically let free all of these migrants and opened the borders according to them, right? And just so that DJ Trump can come in and address the problem as he's addressing it right now, and then pass executive orders to deal with these people, among the tribes, right? And those executive orders can also include our people that's in America too, that are involved in gangs selling drugs, to be got after as well. So what they doing over here is they starting with these Central American gangsters and drug dealers first, and then they gonna work their way up to go deal with Jake, according to these executive orders, paving the way for what? Jacob's trouble, right? So excuse me. So yeah, as the brother was reading the article, it just all made sense that this was all set up, man. This was all set up to be had so that these people can get into the country, and so that DJ Trump can really show his true colors. Because it doesn't really matter if they're Democrat, Republican. They're all under the same script. All right? And DJ Trump may very well be the one to pull this off, man. To bring the end of this civilization in the way that he's going to do that. All right? He may be the one to bring the mark of the beast. He may be the one to bring in Jacob's trouble first. And then the rest is going to follow. But as we will do, we will wait and see. All right? So what I want to do as well is I wanted to show you brothers this as well on the Joe Rogan podcast, right? This was put out 2 months ago, of this guy, Evan Hafer, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He used to be a part of the special forces, and in this video, he's gonna basically tell it that if he were told to deal with the cartel, he would withdraw and retire. Because the thing with those cartel people, man, the thing with them cartel guys, the Mexican cartel individuals, man, I mean, they're a whole different kind of beast to deal with. Like, there's websites you can go on that document violence like the average person wouldn't even see. And them cartels, man, they got so much video evidence of the violence that they've shown. And the American military hasn't really dealt with that before. The special forces I'm talking about. So what he was saying was is if he were told to go deal with them cartels, he would back out of there. All right. And other things that he's going to talk about. So without further ado, I'm going to play this video so you brothers and a few you sisters can see this for yourselves.
Weed here. Oh my God.
I was thinking about that.
Wizards.
I was thinking about this from the thought exercise where I'm like, because I know these units. I'm intimately familiar with them. Bro, if we declare war on the cartel, like these dudes are not gonna understand what the fuck is going on.
No,
like,
of course not.
They are gonna be, because God,
You'll
God
stop the
bless those
distribution.
guys.
That's going to be, yeah.
They are in for a world of like ultra violence they've never actually felt before, because obviously this is a very capable ultra violent organization. They have fucking no clue. If we organize these tier 1 units against them, this is going to be what I would be doing if I was down there. I'd be like, I know all those shoe boxes in my fucking, my walls that I'm going to have to collect up. I'd be getting ready to retire right now. That's what I would be doing. Because if Delta Force is hunting me, bro, I would be so terrified.
Is that a real thing that they've proposed doing?
Yes, that is a real thing.
Who proposed that?
I'm almost positive either JD or Trump had said something with the new guy from ICE. Like, we're going to mobilize tier 1 units against the cartel. The only thing I thought was like, retire if you guys.
Because again, those cartel guys, the level of violence that those people can bring about is something that could bug you out, especially if you're not used to seeing violence at all. If you were to see something like that, you'd be scared to shit. I mean, no matter how trained you are in seeing violence or being trained to fight these various wars, in the forces, I mean, like, no matter how much the military trains you to prepare for violence, when you see violence for real on that kind of scale, it's enough to make your stomach curl up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's enough for you to, if possible, have you think that you're in a Twilight Zone, man. So, like, is this really happening? Am I really in this reality? Is this a dream? Shit like that. So that's why he said what he's saying. But there's some more I want to show as well in this.
You guys got some money, man. I would like put that away.
Yeah.
Like maybe move Jamaica.
Open
I don't
up a
know, go
restaurant.
somewhere. Yeah, buy a restaurant. Like,
Buy a
try to go
restaurant.
legit, because
Go legit.
dude, if those guys are hunting you,
Yeah.
by the way, like, you're done. You're fucking done.
And it's a weird thing that's going on right at our border.
So
it's a
strange.
weird thing because it's so close to us and it's so ultra violent and dangerous, and it's just completely shaped the way the entire economy of the country works. They have so much power and control, and it's a criminal organization that is almost entirely, at least, funded by us, by our desired Trump declared.
Now, if you want to watch some more of this, like around what is it, 2 hours and 41 seconds in, they actually show the article and showing you that that's what they're planning on doing. And this was put out 2 months ago. This is when Joe Biden was in office. By this time, of course, right? So now, as we fast forward from 2 months to now, we read an article like this, and this reads, Trump's to deploy troops to U.S.-Mexico border in hardline immigration strategy. Controversial moves follows flurries of executive actions, including suspension of refugees resettlement programs. The Pentagon is set to deploy up to 1,500 active duty troops to the U.S.-Mexico border as a part of Donald Trump's aggressive new immigration enforcement strategy, marking a significant militarization of the southern border. And the controversial move, defense official told New York Times, comes amid a flurry of executive actions targeting immigrants in the early days of Trump's presidency, And the Washington Post on Wednesday reported that the number could be much higher, with military officials preparing to send many as 10,000 troops to the border. Yeah, so once they station in that area, then they can go deal with the cartel, and that's basically the plan. The plan is to go eventually deal with the cartel, and see what they could do with that right there. And what I'm also speculating too, because remember DJ Trump, he renamed he renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. So when you look at this immigration thing and you look at him having to deal with the cartels, as a matter of fact, let me go and read. Let me see if I can find an article on that as well, right? Because what I'm suggesting is DJ Trump would like to make Mexico probably another state of America, and that's just something that I'm speculating. Like, don't take it for truth. That's just me talking. That ain't the truth. That's just me talking. So this reads: Trump wants to label drug cartels terrorist organizations, and here's what that means in practice. President Trump, in one of his first actions back in office, to sign as an executive order that moves the U.S. government towards designating drug cartels as the terrorist organizations. The decision is a part of the Trump administration broader effort to crack down on the flow of drugs and people across the southern border. The full implication of designating the cartels as terrorist organizations will depend in large part to how the administration follows through. Here's a look at what the order says and the possible implications. The order says cartels are a national security threat in a way that traditional organized crimes is not. They have conducted a campaign of violence and terror through the Western Hemisphere with destabilizing effects, including a flood of deadly drugs, violent criminals, and vicious gangs in the United States. It also says the cartel, it's like, yeah, okay, where was I, man? Let me go back up. Yeah. As well as two transactional gangs rooted in Central America, pose a national security threat to the U.S. And it says it is American policy to ensure the total elimination of these organizations' presence in the U.S. The order instructs the U.S. State Department to recommend within 14 days whether to designate the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. So if they want to get rid of these organizations, they're going to have to go right up to the root of where these organizations are at. It's just like when back in the day in the early 2000s, and I would say the 1990s, but more so the early 2000s. I mean, the buzzword which is terrorism or terrorist was applied to the Muslims. And years down the line, after the Twin Towers fell apart, guess what happened? A year after that, which was 2002, they got into those areas and pretty much destroyed those people. Places like Afghanistan, places like Baghdad and other Muslim nations. And yet and still, after they were in that land, those lands, that buzzword was still going on towards those Muslims. So when Esau declares you a T word, he's looking to take your ass out. All right? That's all it is. They looking to take you out. They looking to put you to death. That's what you do with T's. You put them to death. That's what the government does. Okay? So before they put you out of your misery, they got to call you the T word. So this man, a.k.a. Nero, DJ Trump, he's looking to bring that action, man. He's looking to bring chaos. First to these Northern Kingdom gangs. And then, you can already expect what's going to happen to our people that's in America today, that's in these gangs. They can also expect the same. They can expect them troops to come up against them as well. All right? Right around in their neighborhoods. So, yeah. As this reads over here, this is 2 Ezra 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, and the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, and the beginning of evils, and what shall I do when these evils shall come? So yeah, the time is going to come when these government officials are going to declare war on the American people. And who are they going to really go to war with? They're going to go to war with you Israelites. They're going to go to war with you so-called blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians. So they're going to touch down with these gangs, and then, they're going to touch down with these drug dealers, and then it's going to be touching down to those that are speaking ill against the government. So as this reads, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment because of our sins. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So Jake is still going to be wicked. They're still not going to consider that, well, maybe this is the Lord doing it. This is the Lord that's bringing all of this heat, down to where we lay. They're still not going to consider it. So things are just going to get worse until death comes upon them. All right? So tribulation, great mournings, and great evils are going to come by the hand of DJ Trump. But we'll have to wait and see. All right? And the Lord is going to be on him to get this ball rolling, man. This nigga ain't playing. He already sent people that shouldn't have been here on planes back to where he came from. On the ground in the Colorado City, where President-elect Trump promises to remove savage gangs of illegals, violent crime linked to alleged members of a Venezuelan gang catapulted in Aurora to the forefront of the immigration debate. In a grocery store parking lot on a near-freezing afternoon, a man held a cardboard sign identifying himself as a migrant and asking for help. Next to him, a woman and at least one small child sat on the ground and their shoulders hunched against the biting breeze. Such sights have become ubiquitous for those living in Aurora and the broader Denver area. Migrants living in the streets, asking for money or running up to car stops at intersections with squeegees, trying to make a quick buck, washing windshields. Less visible to the average Aurora residents is the violent gang crime that catapulted the city of about 400,000 to national prominence. And they knew that this was going to happen anyway. Because if you're allowing a flood of people from another country with their issues to roll in the country, they're going to bring those issues with them. All right? They're going to bring gangs and all of that. So at the end of the day, like I said, they expected this to be the case. So that eventually DJ Trump could come in office and address it. All right? The Biden administration obviously knew and were told to do this so that the DJ Trump administration can deal with this the way that they're going to deal with it, by passing these legislations and, writing these executive orders down by his advisories, and then he signs all of those in, and then he deals with the problems which lies in with these gangs and those that deal with drugs. Okay, so if those legislations have been written in as he's written them in anyway, the president can have the power to deal with it, of course, right? And then eventually the president will have the power to deal with all kind of gangs and drug dealers. Okay? So this is just the first level. And then the next level is going to be, okay, how do we tackle gang violence among so-called Black Americans? That's the level it's going to be on. And then again, that's going to bring in what? Jacob's trouble. And then not only are the gangs going to be having to be dealt with, but just like I've also said as well, even people that speak ill of government, they're going to be dealt with. And this is the same president that actually spoke about bringing the guillotines back. All right? So there you have it, man. This shit's going down. And a lot of American people that believe in the political system, they really think that DJ Trump is going to bring the country to its highest heights. And it's going to be all good, and the gravy train is going to come back. And they all going to be able to jump on it. All right? Nah, bad times, more evil and bad times are coming, and he may be the one to pull it off. And this is just the beginning. Okay, but where it concerns our people, this is just a glimpse of what DJ Trump can do all around to our people. All right, going into all of these inner city urban areas, these projects, whatever you want to call them, right? And they're gonna pay Jake a visit, man, and it ain't gonna be nice. It ain't gonna be nice. It kind of reminds me of Now I'm reminded of this whole idea of war against drugs, which started in the 1980s to the 1990s. And we know what that was all about. That was basically a war against Jake, because what they did was is under the Reagan administration, it came out that the CIA was involved in planting drugs in the communities where our people laid. And now, as the time progressed among the 80s, they were selling them drugs, and they was even selling them drugs even up to the early 90s as well. So a lot of Jakes got arrested by that. You had some Jakes that were wrongfully accused of crimes they didn't commit, and all of that. And then in 1994, you had what was called the this crime bill was passed. And this is when, if I'm correct, this is when Joe Biden was the senator at the time. All right, and him and Joe Biden was with this 1994 crime bill to lock more Jakes up. So that whole thing was set up. That whole war on drug shit was set up too, just to get more Jakes in jail. And that's why around that time period, especially in 1991, they came with the gangster rap music, and that was to get Jake more influence into the gangster lifestyle. Getting into this mentality of disregarding, authority, so that they can get more Jakes in the prison systems. And then the prison industrial complexes can make their money, just like they did to our ancestors when we were coming out of slavery, becoming sharecroppers. And then right around that time, those prison industrial complexes in places like Alabama and them southern states, they was making bank off our people. So what they did was is they applied the same concept state to state. All right. And that's just the thing. Jake has always been an instrument to destroy, just so that the government can make money on Jake's downfall. All right. So that's just the thing. That's just the thing about that. I just wanted to bring that out anyway. So now what I want to do is I want to read this as well. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Absolutely. All of those executive orders that he's passed. I mean, there's executive orders that the internet will reveal that he's passed, but there's even some, I believe, that we don't even know about. All right. And we're going to have to wait and see as the time progresses in his tenure, what he's going to be able to do with these executive orders that he's actually signed in. So anyways, it reads, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and I will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. And this is how we're going to get out of captivity. We're going to have to go through the evil times, and us brothers, we're going to have to be comfortable with this. Okay, we're going to have to be comfortable with the fact that through the hard conditional times that is set up for Jake to go through, is that in those same times will be deliverance. Because you ain't going to be delivered in any other way. You have to go through the harsh conditions that the Lord preordained as written in scripture, so that we can be saved. And if you're not willing to go through it, then you ain't of the elect. All right. So you have to arm yourselves. That's what you're going to have to go through. Hell, look at Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is our master, right? So he went through the hardest times of his life. So what makes us any different? But they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, right? Save the Lord Yahweh. So we should only but fear the Lord. See, where fear should be towards is the Lord, not towards Esau. Because guess who's going to be bringing in the evil? Jacob's trouble. The Lord is going to be bringing all of that. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land. of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So that's all I'm going to read from there. So now we're going to read this as well. Psalms 9 and verse 10. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee, for thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Right. So, verse 9 is primarily the point. The Lord Yahweh also will be a refuge for the oppressed. And who is the oppressed? Our people are the oppressed. We've been crying under oppression. We've been crying those words since the 1960s and still. Okay, so the only people that fit being the oppressed is so-called black people, and as well as the Latinos and Native American Indians as well, and they're only in their way. All right, in their way, they're also feeling oppressed as well. But these words were shouted out the most among the Southern Kingdom, up in America and stuff. All right, a refuge in a time of trouble. Okay, so yeah. In the time of trouble, the Lord is going to deliver us, man. That's where the deliverance is going to be. We ain't going to be delivered before Jacob's trouble. We're going to be delivered in Jacob's trouble. And that's something that we all got to be comfortable with, man. Okay? And DJ Trump is looking like he's going to be the one to bring that heat towards Jake. And that's why they set Jake up to be the degenerate that they are, so that they can come up against these degenerates later on. So yeah, with that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Waharakak, Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone. And what I'll do is I want to talk more about these gangs, Lord willing, and see what the Spirit says, man, because I could take this somewhere else too. Or I could just continue on with the notion of the Lord bringing evil in the city to the point where it affects our people. Jacob's trouble. I could continue on with that sort of topic right there and get into that. So with that, I'm out, man. Shalom.